plugs in, and he walks over to the gear. And he's like, 3. What the fuck have you guys been doing? Whoa. And I'm like, that's what I was saying. And he I don't know anything about guitars. He hits a couple of pedals and he opens up his volume knob on his Les Paul and goes, which sends my in bed by 9 p.m. rhythm section. It just turns me on. It elicits a psychosexual response. I'm like, I want to live. And so now Paul's all pumped. He's like, all right, man. All right, are we going to play or what? And I'm like, of course. And he goes, what's the first song? I said, sir, there's a set list right at your feet. And the first song in our little set was a song called Something That I Said, a great A-side from the Ruts. And it starts with guitar, little, kind of plaintive guitar riff at the beginning. And we played this song at least 10 times over the last 2 days at very low volume, perfectly by our guest guitar players. But when Paul starts playing, even on the first opening notes, all the hair on my arm stands up because all of a sudden you're in a room with Paul Fox, and he don't sound like anybody else. He is one of those guys with his own thing going on. And he goes ripping into this song. It's a kind of an up-tempo rock song, and the band fairly crashes in right at the top of the thing, bass, drums, vocals, and guitar. And all of a sudden, Paul is playing it like it should be played. The rhythm section is like, whoa! And Seggs has to run over and crank up his bass. And I don't think I got a single lyric out in that first song. I think I just stood in front of Paul going, It sounded so good. I was overwhelmed because the Ruts now sound like the Ruts. They sound like they were cracked out of an ice block circa 1979, and they're playing live in a room. I mean, they sound magnificent, and it's the first time the three of them played together for who knows how long. And so I stupidly asked a man, some friend of theirs, to take my little camera and take photos of all of it so I could never forget the event. Every single photo is embarrassing. You should see me with my pale, skinny legs, my gym shorts, trying to do the rock. And I had no idea how fucking stupid I look when I'm into it. And there I am rocking out with Paul, and everywhere he went I would follow him because I wanted to rock with him. And he would play over, I'd be like, and every photo is him trying to play with me right in front of him going. And at one point he's bending back like this and I'm leaning on him because I just couldn't get away from him. And I see the rest of there's a great photo of him like this and me and the rest of the band's like, get off him. I'm like, no! And so we go ripping through the set, and when Paul plays these songs, man, it is something else. He's electrifying. He's an amazing guitar player, and he doesn't sound like a guy who has cancer. He sounds like a guy who's been playing these songs every day. I mean, he nailed them. And so we get to the end of this set, and what occurs to me is if we can play like that at the show, damn, man, we're going to be okay. I mean, if we can just do this. And so Paul puts the guitar down, and as soon as the adrenaline starts to subside, I think the pain overtook his adrenaline. And I just saw Paul do this thing where I thought he was going to collapse because of the pain. He kind of went, ah! And that's when I realized that he walked into the room in pain, he played the songs in pain, and the pain-blocking medication didn't really do anything to block the pain. He's just a tough dude who really wants to play these songs. I think we all saw it. It was hard to watch. And then he kind of evens out, and he goes into his gear bag, and he pulls out a can of beer and a pack of cigarettes. And he lights up a cigarette, and in my mind I'm thinking, you shouldn't smoke, you could get lung cancer. I got it. And he's like, what? I'm like, fucking give him 10 packs. Give him 10 packs and a truck of beer. It's like, when you're wet, who cares about the rain? I said, you're funny. He's like, yeah, mate, yeah, way. And so he's hanging out with the other two Ruts, and I grab my camera, and I take photos of the three of them talking and laughing, because they've known each other all their lives. So I realized at one point, those guys aren't going to be hanging out in a room, the three of them. There's going to be two of them or whatever. And so, I'm a fanboy, and so I'm taking photos. And eventually, Paul is packed up into the truck, and his friend takes him back home to his house. And band practice is over. We've been to the mountaintop. There's nothing more to do. And so we pack it up and we call it an evening. Our bass player, he's one of those guys who's in 5 bands, and so he's booked all weekend long. So there's nothing for me to do now except wait 48 treacherous hours for the gig. And this downtime, as you know, does not serve me very well. So I go back to my hotel room with 2 days before the gig. I'm thinking, I have to practice. I have to stay in it. So I figure out a way to have practice in my hotel room. I spread out all the lyric sheets of the Ruts songs all over my tiny bed, and I'm sitting there sweating in my underwear, rocking back and forth over the lyrics, trying to memorize them so they become part of my DNA. It's a very small room in the middle of the crowd. The room gets dark when the music gets loud. The trouble comes through. The rhythm takes a bite, but there's no room to move. The floor is passionate. Voice has loud. Never surrender. Voice in the crowd. Never surrender. Skins in the corner. The bar rooms. And then I realized I looked like a young man trying to upload the entirety of the Quran into his brain pan before lunch. And I'm very, very intense. And maybe I should get a little bit of fresh air, don't you think? And so I go wandering all over the Piccadilly Soho part of London like a gray-haired idiot savant, incoherently mumbling Ruts lyrics to himself and physically admonishing himself when he gets them wrong. You're in a rut. You've got to get out of it, 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 out of it. Get it right, you fucking stupid. You're so fucking stupid. And excuse me, what? Are you Henry Rollins? Yeah! You're in a rut. You've got to get out of it, out of it, out of it. And it was awful for me. And I'm porpoising on jet lag, up for 1, down for 2, up for 3, down for 5. And about 24 hours into the 48 hours of the wave of anxiety and self-hate, the phone rings. It's Sarah, the nice promoter lady. She says, "Henry, I've got great news." I said, "The gig is canceled?" And she said, "No, the Damned are on tour right now, and they have a night off, the night of our show, and they're going to sneak in through the back and do a surprise set, and the only people who know are you, me, the Ruts, and the Damned. What do you think about that?" And I went, "Oh, that's awful." She said, I thought you liked the Damned." I go, "No, lady, I don't like the Damned at all. I love the Damned. I worship the Damned. I've been listening to the Damned since the first Damned album came out, or maybe a few months after, because it takes a long time for the record to get across the Atlantic Ocean to Washington, D.C., but you know what I mean. I could be happy with a desert island with a power generator, the first Damned album, a turntable, and a pair of headphones, and food. I would want for nothing else. That's how damn good that band is to me. And so now I get the opportunity to fuck up these songs, these great songs of the Ruts, in front of not only Charlie Harper, my punk rock surrogate dad, but Dave Vaney and Captain Sensible of the Damned. Oh, goody! And so my life went... So she said, "You're really weird." I go, "You have no idea." And so she hung up the phone, and the next day, like a man going to lethal injection, head hung low, I go to the gig, and I walk in the afternoon, sound check time, big empty dance floor with men wheeling equipment cases across it, and I see standing over in the corner Charlie Harper and the UK Subs. And I walk over to Charlie thinking, if I can just say, "Hey, Charlie, it's good to see you again. Have a great show," and walk away. That would be great. This is about 5 times in my life since 1981 until a few months ago. I've tried to have a civil conversation with Charlie Harper, who's a really nice guy. I just like his music so much, I lose my face when I try and speak to him. If I like your band, you're in trouble, because I want to know everything. I want to know what you ate for breakfast the morning you recorded your 3rd single. I want the demo tapes. I want the basement rehearsal tapes. I want to know everything. I am a fanboy. What can I say? I want the flyers, I want the stickers, I want the promotional posters, I want the buttons, and I want every promotional bit of merchandise there is. I need it all. I'm insatiably curious. And so I walk up to Charlie Harper, I'm thinking, I'm 46 fucking years old. Get it together. Just walk over and say, "Hey, Charlie, good to see you. Have a good show," and then walk out. You can do this. Ready? Go. I walk over there. "Hey, hi, my name is Henry, and a long time ago, on December 23rd, 1981, at the Queen's Hall in Leeds, England, we played a show together. And do you remember in November of 1979, you released the 4-track She's Not There EP, and it came out in limited edition green vinyl and unlimited black vinyl, but strangely, it came out as a colored vinyl A-label promotional single, as well as a black vinyl A-label promotional single, which is interesting, because not many bands release the A-label promo in the limited edition colored vinyl, but you did 3 or 4 times in the 7 singles you did for the Gem label. And I want to know, what was the strategy behind that? Was for collector boys like me? And while we're at it, how many did you press up of the green vinyl A-label promotional copy and the black vinyl A-label promotional? Oh, and while we're at it, how many did you press up for the retail version of the green vinyl and the retail version of the black vinyl? And are there any acetates or white label test pressings of this 4-track EP? Because I think it's one of the high points of the band. And also, I wanted to know, I just did a thing in my pen, and I got nothing out. But I'm curious. I need to know this stuff. I had a similar problem many years ago meeting the king of rock and roll. I met the king in 1983. No, Henry. The king died a little before that. No, rock critic boy. The king of rock and roll is alive and well, and he played at the Big Day Out a couple of years ago. First name Iggy, last name Pop. Okay?